Testing if the audio works. That was weird. The whole point of that setup is like, okay, good. Yeah, the whole point of that setup is I can just like press the button and then it turns on and everything's ready to go. And for some reason, when I booted up today, it didn't detect the camera USB, so I had to unplug it and replug it in, and then. But I guess for some reason I think. Yeah, I had basically that same setup. That's the first time it's ever done exactly that, which is strange. With no gains. Oh, that's the whole. That's your whole name. Tofu almond man with no gains, who is a fitness guru. Says, Robert, brother, how are you? I'm pretty good. Love all your vids. Big fan. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, it's always a satisfying feeling when you publish a video and you can just watch the views roll in and sit back and relax. The Fed's back door was occupying your mic. I hope not. It also messed up the camera. I think it's something to do with maybe the USB enumeration wasn't working or something. It forgot the configurations. That's weird. What textbook did you use for linear algebra? I have no idea. That would have been a long time ago. See, when did I take linear algebra? 2009? Oh, that's why. It's because I do not have the remote mount. Rob looked at GitHub and grabbed your game into IntelliJ. I was able to build it with one click. Under Modify Options, there is a before launch option. Okay, yeah, I've been working on improving. Working out the kinks in it, and I guess it's not only building. I want to like kind of make an attempt at figuring out like the right way to comply with the Maven lifecycle and stuff like that, so it doesn't. That way, the iteration loop can be a bit faster. The newest thing though Oh, you know what that was? That's because I think I opened it with IntelliJ. And IntelliJ created a temporary file, and so that's why the mount didn't work. And so if I do that, now the mount is set up, and now I can open IntelliJ, and it'll probably remember those two build rules. And there we go. And let's see, you said under modify options there is because you probably mean in the configuration. Here we go. Before launch task. Yes. Yes. Excellent. Okay. Nice. Thank you very much for that. That's man, you know, the moments like this are where the value of streaming really shines through. Yeah, historically I've thought you know, it could be there's a lot of I don't know, time wasting and but yeah, the when someone points out something that you've been doing for a long time that's inefficient. Let's see, I'm missing chats. Imagine needing to click. Game Dev Chat says, "Hey Robert, how's it going?" Just took your script files and I was able to run them all consecutively. That's good. Good that they build. I made a few fixes to the build scripts recently. There was a couple issues with the Java. It was if you have multiple Java versions on your system, it could mess up. Brendan Fraser sends $1, so that's our first contribution for the World Domination Fund tonight. Thank you very much for that. And looking at for those of you who've been here the last couple live streams, you notice that the chat revenue is currently in US dollars because there's no prefix. And then randomly, at an arbitrary time during the stream, it's going to change the chat revenue that's over there. Oh, it went down to 0? Now it's back at 1. Nice. That's random. Now, keep an eye on that because randomly it'll change to CA. So there'll be a prefix CA that'll show up, and then it'll express it in Canadian dollars, and then it goes randomly back and forth. I don't know why it does that. Polly Unknown says, "Good evening, Robert, short-time listener, first-time messenger. Cheers from the PNW, Pacific Northwest, probably." Losers in the chat, rise up. I'm not a loser. That was a little white lie. A non-dude says, I love you, man. Love's a very strong emotion. But thank you for the kind words. A pigeon landed in my backyard with a broken wing last Wednesday. And now I have a pet pigeon. Be careful about pigeon diseases. There was a pigeon that landed on my balcony, and it has a tracking, or it has like a, not a tracking, but like a tag on it. And I googled it, and apparently it's a racing pigeon. I wasn't able to get the full number on it, but apparently that's a huge thing. And I randomly I saw a news clip in the last couple of days. There was someone released a pigeon, a racing pigeon in Spain, and it somehow got to Sable Island, like off the coast, Atlantic coast, recently. Watch your video about immigration. Here in the UK, it's much worse, but the housing market is not as bad. Yeah, the immigration thing is, I hope that the government can, be a bit more sensible, because that's like the keeping immigration sensible is a pretty important thing for, the integrity of society. But hopefully someone in positions of power or position to improve things can watch my video, and it'll lead to some positive improvements. Hello from South America. How's it going? Pigeons are matrix agents. Yeah, it makes sense. Birds aren't even real. Yeah. Not sick, just injured. Is able to lift its wing. Stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I just know birds have lots of diseases and stuff like that. I think I tried to care for an injured pigeon once when I was a kid too, and then I can't remember what happened to it. Yeah, give it a place to chill, and then have you thought of leaving Canada? Just curious, considering what you've been dealing with. The problem is like leaving somewhere. So like I get random people all the time in comments and chat, and they're like, just move to Russia, move to this random Baltic state, move to go to Mexico or something. Like I'm not gonna make such a significant. I want to go somewhere where I'm not interested in traveling for fun. If I went somewhere, it would be to try to build up a life and establish connections and put down roots and stuff. And the few roots I have are here. And my the small amount of family I have is here in Canada, so it doesn't make sense. If I have to visit them or something like that, I don't think it doesn't make sense to be away from them long term. But yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, if it was to go down to the States or something, probably going to the U.S. would be. If it was going to go anywhere, it would probably be the U.S. I don't know. I know Poland. Poland is a good place to be apparently right now. Have they reversed the Trudeau era immigration trends? I think that they've claimed that they have. I really don't know what the reality is on immigration, because they I don't know, the whole Trudeau government kind of fell apart since a long time ago. They I can't remember, it was 2022 or 2023, there's a whole bunch of important government stats and stuff, they just like stop publishing everything. So it's hard to even find data about what's happened in the last few years, because a lot of it's not published. And then the small amount of stuff that I find is like, it's like incomprehensible. It looks like it comes from like a spreadsheet from someone who's like, someone at Stats Canada who's like on Adderall or something, and it's just like tons and tons of figures and groupings, and the headings are all very confusing, and doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And then numbers, I don't know, it's questionable if the numbers make sense. And we also have it's hard to quantify too, because there's so many immigration pathways, and I don't completely understand them all. There's I guess what we call like immigration, permanent residents, temporary foreign workers, and asylum seekers, and I don't have a handle on all those things. But anyway, that's that's why in my video I talked about what I know about. So that's my contribution to the conversation. United States of North America, USA plus Canada plus Greenland is a plausible cyberpunk country. If they want to do that, but as long as they can just like improve society. I mean, there's so many things are messed up. It'd be they just have to like improve anything. I forget. Are you East Coast or West Coast? Originally, I'm from East Coast. My family is Polish. It's very difficult to move there without already knowing the language and culture. Very closed society in general, I'd say. Yeah, I guess maybe I've heard that they do have very like pretty strict immigration, but honestly, that's probably why they're doing so well, is that they're really careful about who they let in, and they're planning for the future. Let's see. Okay, so let's test out that new build rule. Should do a making a big Silicon Valley stream and visit California. The new thing is to live on the sidewalk anyways out here. Yeah, I don't know. It's we'll have to see where this whole social media thing takes me. What's the best Canadian food? Is Canadian maple syrup really that good? Maple syrup is good. I don't know if it's necessarily the Canadian one. It's hard to describe, like, I guess the poutine is the stereotypical Canadian food, but I don't know what like when I ate growing up, I ate a lot of like potatoes and carrots and stuff. Okay. Okay, so the block width for that one was 2. Lives in living homeless population. Oh, live. Oh, okay. I thought you meant like live streaming on the sidewalk. Yeah, there is a lot of that down there. I saw a video yesterday about the homeless industrial complex and how there's all these crazy systems for like extracting like these weird systems where you have to apply for housing in some place, and then some third-party company gets like $35 every time someone submits an application for housing. So what they do is they just always disapprove everyone, or they just like ignore every application. So they just sit there collecting these $35 fees from the taxpayer for all these like applications that they do nothing with. And there's like 1,000 other ways like that money is taken from the system. Hello from a 43-year-old broke loser from Toronto. How's it going? Hopefully things improve for you. I watched some ice hockey matches. Found them amazing, even better than American football. Yeah, I'm not into sports at all. Would you say there AI save jobs in tech? I've heard EE and CE are doing better than CS grads. I think AI will probably encroach on everything, but there's certain, I guess you can think about like anything where the context window is massive. Like if you have a huge, well, just think about like AI generated code. When you go to ChatGPT and ask it to do something and it does it wrong, the skills you need to identify when AI is doing something wrong, those are the ones that are going to be AI proof. So probably like, developing boilerplate for like games, like Flappy Bird, program Flappy Bird or something ubiquitous. That'll be the stuff that gets replaced first. Do you actually collect figures, or did you just buy the Miku figure as a joke for the video? I did actually just buy it specifically for. I'll probably have some other. I'll probably just use it in a bunch of videos. I did so I looked into those. Those figures are incredibly expensive. So that one that I bought, so I didn't notice it. I didn't read the listing, but apparently it was broken. So when I got it, the one side of the hair was like completely broke off. So I actually had to I used my drill press to put in like a screw tab in it, and then I glued it so to get so that it actually looks like it used to. But I figured, in terms of a cost benefit analysis, so I think it was, how much was it? It was like $40 or $50, and then there was I had to pay customs on it. It came from Japan. And actually, if you saw my my community post about FedEx, getting FedEx to deliver packages, that was the package that so it sat in like some random convenience store for a week until I told FedEx, like, I'm not going to this place, like, please deliver it to my place. Yeah, so they're what did I pay for that? Like $60 is what I paid for that one. But I thought that for cost benefit analysis, like the increase in click-through rate and the increase in every kind of like conversion of like, I think people like having I can see more Miku, please. Like it's just a I think I heard about actually I think when I was down in California, I met a couple of Japanese people down there, and they showed me some like so what's popular in Japan, and I think that's how I first heard about like Vocaloids and stuff, and the songs are kind of catchy and stuff, but I know it's Miku has a like a cult following, and so I've actually never watched an anime before, so it's not something I spend any time on or have knowledge of, but of course, as a as a marketing technique, people just like when you put stuff that they're interested in whatever you're doing. So I thought that would just be a fun thing. And I think that's the top voted comment on my latest video is like is about the Hatsune figure, and the fact that I don't even talk about it in the video. $60 for anime Miku figurine. Yeah, it's man, those things are really expensive. Like, this was a used one that was broken, but if you look up like how much they like the ones that are a bit more elaborate and stuff like that, many hundreds of dollars, and then a few of them are like you can't even buy them. You have to buy them secondhand somewhere. Let's see, I missed some chats. Do you ever visit the Seattle area? I used to work. I did 2 internships at Amazon, but I never been back. Never been back since. Do you have an opinion on NeoVim, LazyVim? My opinion is a lot of people have told me to try out NeoVim, and I'm going to try it someday, and I have not gotten around to trying it. Thanks. Wish you the same. Yeah, things are all right now. The last few videos have brought in some decent revenue, and YouTube revenue is going up, so hopefully that continues. F5 coders. No offense to vibe coders. Yeah, I think vibe coders are going to create a lot of technical debt, so anyone who can fix that technical debt is going to be doing pretty well. AI's MS Word, Office Assistant Clippy on steroids. It raises the bar for newbie programmers. I guess you could say that, but it's like AI is getting like pretty amazing. I think, I don't know, there's some of the second order, the fact that theoretically you could tokenize any kind of concept. Like, you even take meta transcripts. Like, you could take a transcript from a vibe coding session and then feed that to another LLM and trade that. So I think the entire transcripts from people using AI, those are going to be fed back into AI. So I don't know, things are going to get really crazy in the next few years. It's probably going to, I think we might have hit a maximum. AI is kind of trained on all the data that's on the internet. So we've been producing data for thousands of years. So I'm sure the AI now knows about ancient Greek texts and stuff like that. So I think we need a few more years of real world facts to feed into the AI, and then it's going to get really crazy. I first started Miku through Sega PSP games. Yeah, I think I just heard of it the Vocaloid, from YouTube recommendations and stuff. If you put an anime thing in another video, I'm leaving. Okay. I'll probably I don't actually watch any anime, but a couple of a few articles and videos if I just have a reference to it, because anytime you put stuff like that in, that people who really like it always comment on it. Can I install you as a Linux command? I don't think so. I guess you could. I don't know. You could. I have a blog. You can reference that. Do you want a pet pigeon? I'll give you a discount. I'm pretty good. Thank you for the offer, though. Have people, whether to learn to code, wasted their time or not? I guess it depends what specific thing they learn to code. I know there's some of the people who went to boot camps and stuff. Those people are going to have a really hard time competing. They're in a difficult spot. And I guess I think also, it depends on a lot of factors. It depends how old you are too. I think younger workers have an easier time because they're they haven't been around the block as much, so you can kind of guilt trip younger people into like working weekends and stuff like that, whereas you get a little bit older and wiser and you're like, nah, I'm not gonna live for this company. If you still have your PSP, okay. Synthetic data is going to become more and more relevant over time. Yeah, I guess it depends what you mean by synthetic data, because technically, yeah, I guess it depends how you distinguish the synthetic data from non-synthetic data. I guess I think I'm not sure what the technical definition of synthetic data is, but I guess presumably it's stuff generated from the AI models. But as long as, even if it's like data about how a human being reacts to synthetic data, that would make it data. My AI project would be creating AI agents for building an entire new operating system from scratch. It's a very ambitious AI project. Thoughts on IT jobs like DevOps and system admins. I've worked with some people who did that exact role, like DevOps at Amazon. That actually is, I don't know, if I was working in one of those companies, that I could see myself being at a role like that. I know if you're doing DevOps, it's quite likely that you're going to, like if you're doing on-call work, a DevOps person would probably do on-call stuff. So you'd have to, factor that into your compensation. So if you want to be woken up all night, then you want to get rewarded for it handsomely. I guess if you're doing DevOps, a lot of the technical knowledge in my videos is kind of niche. It's not necessarily that useful for a lot of programmers, but I would say for DevOps, if you're doing DevOps stuff, all the command line stuff and TDY detaching and stuff, that becomes very useful. Understanding Bash and the TDY is important. AI and heavy use dependency on it will artificially embed some powerless, creative, older ways of doing things. Think about things and squelch creativity. Yeah, I mean, it's going to have a lot of effects. The little anime thing getting zoomed in as you gave the outro for the last video killed me. Yeah, I mean, I guess putting that figure in the video had the effect that I wanted people. It's like such a nonsense thing, but it's memorable and it makes people click on the video and comment about it. I think I have some other video ideas. I'll have to put that figure in, so that'll that should boost the click through and it'll pay for itself. And then who knows? Maybe I'll maybe I'll get even more of those figurines. Synthetic data is, say for example, 100 different slight modifications of the same training image with the same tags. It varies the image, looks slightly, while still having the same underlying props. Okay. Yeah, I watched I think it was a podcast that Mark Zuckerberg did, and he was talking about them training models, and I think he said synthetic data. I think that was the term he used, and he said that he was really surprised at how training on synthetic data like dramatically improved, the results of the models. So I guess it's actually a relevant thing that goes pretty far. What's the biggest difference between the people who went to college for CS and those who didn't? The biggest difference. I don't know. I don't have a good specific answer for that one. So you get a lot more variety of states when synthesis of slight modifications of the same source images. Yeah, I guess that makes sense, but you don't have to. I kind of wonder what the algorithm is to actually like modify the image though, because you can vary. Like if you say it's this is a photograph of a cat, but then you like just add like noise to it, and it's totally corrupted, then it's no longer a picture of a cat. Casual Image Warrior says hello. How's it going? On call is the worst thing about DevOps. Yeah, when I was at Amazon, that was one of the big reasons why I did not go back to Amazon, is because I was like, this is not like, this job makes a lot of money, but I mean, these people are they stay up all night, and then they come in and they're expected to work all day, and then when things go wrong, they're thrown under the bus. And hey, Robert, I just finished my cybersecurity degree with all sorts of certs. Any advice on getting basic entry IT job? So my understanding on my understanding and perception on certs is, so I don't know a lot of them, but my opinion. So like I guess I'm actually not familiar with a lot of the recognized certificates, like certificates and stuff like that for cybersecurity. I just don't know what they are, but I know there's like there's all kinds of like like useless certifications, like probably like LinkedIn or Microsoft or has like everyone who, like, I could just make up my own cert and sell it to you or something. It's the Robert Elder software cybersecurity certification or something. But I know some certifications do carry weight. Like I think there's the Red Hat certified engineer or something, or someone kind of commented on one of my videos about I think it was the Red Hat security something or other, and those kinds of certifications I think are relevant and recognized for like government agencies, and there's certain kinds of agencies that basically they kind of like don't even really care about how great you are at the thing. They base it for like liability. They want it's almost like a WHMIS specification, like those signs like explosive and toxic and whatever on chemicals. If you want to hire someone, you want to hire a chemist, you absolutely need to make sure, or someone who moves around chemicals, you absolutely need to make sure that they took this course, so you can check the box, say like, okay, I'm covered for liability. They know this kind of basic check mark. And I think the good certifications to have are kind of around that line where it actually it's almost similar to like if you have like a compressed gas license or something like that. Like they don't really care how good you are at that thing. You need that specific certification. That's my understanding. So I guess I would say for those specific certs, you could specifically like research which organizations actually care about those. Whereas if you, for example, apply at a startup probably won't care. Like they probably won't even know about some of those things, but for some specific government organization, it may be a must-have to have one of those specific certs. Any person that touches infrastructure will possibly have some kind of on-call, weekend or evening night. Yeah, there were some other people at Amazon who did on-call, and they said they almost never got any page, and then there were other people who were paged like constantly. I watched some of your older videos from 3-4 years ago. Noticed that your voice sounded very different. It's also the microphone made a big difference. Yeah, I guess the first video, the oldest ones were recorded on like an old phone that I don't even use anymore. So the physically smaller microphones have a different frequency response. So this one picks up a lot of the bass, and I've also over time, it's taken me time to like learn how to control my voice to talk into the microphone to get the right volume, and also like sound treating and stuff like that makes a huge difference. It's actually kind of surprising and remarkable, like how much knowledge goes into the audio engineering of making sure that of things. So yeah, did your voice actually change during this period, or did you just start talking differently? Oh yeah, yeah. I guess it's possible that my voice changed, but a big part of it is probably the microphone. There were a few times when like getting the distance right. Like I guess if I go back off the microphone like this, then my voice probably sounds quite a bit different. Following the election, did you vote? Yep, I voted today. Not following it, I guess. I'm not sure when. I think the polls were saying it's like 99% predicted to be Liberal win. So I guess I'll check probably before I go to bed. But it's not something I'm keeping a super close eye on. Off to bed. Good luck with taking over the world. Thank you. I will. I'm well on my way to starting with my $1 in chat revenue. And I guess it didn't change the currency. Interesting. We love domination. I guess that's an interesting way to put it. I wanted to get an LPIC, Linux Professionals Institute certification, but I have so many things on my to-do list. Yeah, I haven't. I honestly, if you asked me to like name off a few well-known certifications, I actually don't know any. Just get experience from a good old help desk job. Problem now is that you got a bunch of people without experience, hijacked what they see in social media. They want to jump the line and don't want to start in a help desk. Yeah, I guess it depends on what you study. If you, if you're if you go to like school for a degree, like an engineering degree or something, I guess a lot of those people would hope that they can skip the help desk. Watch Robert become the next Prime Time Jin or Luke Smith. Buy your Robert Stonks now. We'll see. I've streamed the last 4 days in a row, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I don't know. The making YouTube videos is a lot of work, and then streaming is also that takes up time. And while I'm streaming, I can't make videos while I'm streaming. I guess a lot of the big ones seem to take their stream content, and then they have someone edit that into the video content. But I'm not at that level yet. That's why I think IT work should have an apprentice instead of getting degrees. Yeah, I think it would be, the whole system would work a lot better if we had more, if we had more connection directly to the, actually getting people working and doing useful stuff. Like the whole track where, people go get an undergrad and then they get a master's and then they get a PhD and they're studying for 10 years before they actually contribute to the economy. I can give you some flashcards that have the exact answers on the LPI test. Interesting. Do you still plan on working as a software developer consultant in the near future? Or will you do YouTube full-time? Also, why not go back to teaching at a college. I'm probably like the thing that is, in my opinion, shows the most growth and promise is the YouTube, primarily YouTube content, and the kind of like the marginal long-term ability. Like I can put out a video and it can get views and compounding benefit for years. Whereas like for the consulting stuff, I'd say I'm totally done that. I have a few videos. If you want all the full answers, if you go to my channel and search for the word consulting, and then if you watch my How to Become a 37-Year-Old Broke Loser, I talked a lot about why I'm not doing consulting. As for teaching, the main issue with teaching is that you're paid well per hour, but the number of hours that you're paid for and the number of hours that's required to teach the course are totally disconnected. So I made it was like $100 an hour is what I was paid when I was teaching there, but that's only to stand in front of the class. So things like marking tests, creating assignments, basically every kind of support task is basically like volunteer. So it looks good on paper, the rate, but the actual time needed to administer the course, like marking exams, submitting marks and stuff, when you add all that up, it's like probably like 3 or more times the underlying amount of time you're paid for. Also, I think the immigration, the international student scheme might be kind of running its course, because I think Conestoga College, I saw a few articles that say they're like laying off a whole bunch of staff now. So that might it's possible that this might be the worst time to be getting into that. And actually, if you watch my video about immigration, I go quite a bit into the talking about teaching at the college and stuff. So a lot of I didn't make it. I didn't title it on anything to do with the college, why I didn't go back there. But you can read between the lines from my descriptions of teaching there. Bitcoin is the way. If you say so. I'm not in crypto at all. Actually, I'm kind of interested to ask Robert, how was your experience making YouTube content? I've been entertaining, starting it doing it in college. I'll have no burden of making a profit. Yeah, I would say you can you can test the waters. I guess it depends what your goals are. That would probably be a good thing to ask yourself, what is your actual goal? Probably a good first goal is just to explore it. Do you like the process of making videos? So download some video editing software, and if you because to watch a video, the video on immigration, that video took me almost 2 months to make. So I put a lot of time in the script, but editing in the scenes and stuff and getting all the keyframe transitions and stuff, it's days and days. There's a while where I would wake up and I'm just like, man, this just never ends. So much work on this, but then I get it released and it's satisfying because it's out there forever and the views just keep going up. But you can also have some other videos put a lot of work into, and they basically get no view. They get 2,000 views or something, and have made $8 in the entire history. And I spent weeks on them. But yeah, I mean, in general, social media seems to be taking over. So having some video production skills might even be a transferable skill. Anywhere, if you assuming you're in a STEM field, if you're the only computer programmer who has some video editing skills and you work at a startup and the startup is like, hey, we should start a YouTube channel, who's going to do this YouTube channel, and you're the one that knows that, if you just ask yourself per capita, how many minutes of video do people watch? Does the average person watch? And the answer is a lot. And then if you think about that the other way, how many hours of video does the average person create? It's way less. We have a decent apprenticeship program over here for IT. Software developer, guess that is not common in US, Canada. We have a decent apprenticeship over here for IT. I'm curious where that is. At the University of Waterloo, the co-op program there was very good. That was where I went. My overlord wife said that you can crash our tiny house if you are between places. Just cover utilities, or a bit south of Seattle metro area. Oh, thank you. That's very generous, the offer. But I'm not homeless yet. I don't think that'll ever happen. But I think from my interaction with the tenant board, it seems like it does seem like you can fight it and drag things on forever, but it's also like if you're a deadbeat and you just sit around doing nothing all day, you can stay in an apartment, I think, for a very long time. But if you're trying to be a productive member of society, going through a rent eviction is makes it almost impossible to function, because you're if you're like a junkie, you probably don't have a lot of possessions in your apartment. So if someone comes in and takes all your stuff, you lose a couple $1,000s worth of stuff. But if you have a regular person, you have family photos and cherished items and stuff like that. The idea of having missing the sheriff coming and then losing all your stuff, that's a big deal. So you're having all this uncertainty means you've actually got to do something about it. But I actually got a storage unit, and I got a little bit of stuff in it. So if I have to bail on short notice, then honestly, it'd be kind of nice to go back and visit my parents for a bit, if it comes to that. Let's see. I'll skip some of the ads. What's your take on remote work outside of Canada? I'm not sure I have a take on it, other than if you can get people to hire you and pay you. Of course, there's visa. If a company in the U.S. hires someone in Canada to work remotely, I think they still need the person needs a visa, if I'm not mistaken. But if you're the employee and you can get people to hire you, then and they pay you good, then go for it. How come that comment's repeated? I don't know, did you just copy and paste the what's your take on remote work outside of Canada? And there's a two beside it. Okay, I was like, what am I seeing? All right, so is this a botnet? And the bot, I guess you're just saying you also interested in the same question? Switzerland. Are you an extrovert personality? TBH, I can't imagine how difficult it is to put yourself out there. I don't know. It's a good question. I've had lots of other people tell me that I'm an introvert, although I don't know, personally I don't. I would say I'm an extrovert for people who I like socializing with, but there's you know, that it's I don't meet that many people who I'm just super like people want to talk about sports and stuff like that. It's just can't get into that. But talking about plans for world domination, that's pretty interesting. Love to sell my stuff and get houseboat. Write trading software for a living, if I could get away with that. I think that's writing trading software. It's kind of a pipe dream in this day and age. Goldman Sachs has kind of mined out all those inefficiencies. Okay, I better. I guess I haven't seen that. That threw me for a loop for a second. Okay, chat slowed down. So this thing has a width of 2. So that means I was thinking there's a possibility yeah. Are most of all Canadians introvert? I don't know. I don't know if you could say that a whole country is introverted. What's this you're working on? This is a terminal-based block mining simulation game. Never met an extroverted Linux user. Might not trust them, to be honest. Yeah, that would be kind of odd. I'm underpaid for my experience because I'm bad at negotiating. I wish software entrepreneurship wasn't such a hopeless path in my estimation these days. Yeah, so software entrepreneurship is like especially any kind of venture capital funded type thing. Like this, the concept of raising money to build a compiler or something is kind of unheard of. I guess a lot of the constraint for like software projects has boiled down to being like a marketing thing. So if you can succeed in, like, if you forget about what the software product is or how good the software product is, if you can succeed in marketing, then that kind of dictates the success of the underlying software product. Why is it hard for people to understand that some of us just don't want to vote? Not sure. I guess if some people tell you to vote, you can just ignore them. Let's see. So I was thinking about this this morning before I got up, and there's a case where there might be some like for characters that are larger than one column wide, I might be necessary for me to initialize those. Like I'm skipping forward, and I might need to initialize some stuff if I can remember where in the code this is. Dembros Studios says hello. How's it going? Okay, this might be. Using Vim VI as an IDE. Yeah, this is where I'm used to coding. Although I've been got all over the place. I've been also coding in this, learning how to get this thing set up. So the issue might be in these things where I skip forward. I think there might need to do something smarter than just skipping. Honestly, I use KTE Advanced Text Editor, Vim for configs, Key for everything else. I didn't vote because neither the Liberal or Conservative candidates actually align with my ideals. What a Conservative and a Liberal should be. Yeah, that's honestly, I think an rated perspective is, in my opinion, like theoretically I could like agree with what either party wants to do if they could successfully do it and not just like waste a bunch of money. Because all the parties say the right things, but their ability to execute on their promises is in question. Vim I never came around to using. I've been using it personally quite a while. I'm using it since before NeoVim. People ask you how the voting went, or did you vote today? If you say did you not, they'll say something like, it's because you can't vote. They won't accept the fact that you don't vote. Yeah, I guess some people get super excited about it. They find any excuse to talk about it. Are you planning on making more long-form videos talking about social issues? Also, what editing software do you use on Linux? I use Kdenlive for video editing. Ideally, I'd kind of like to keep the channel focused on technology. Although I guess the last video has nothing to do with technology. It's just like a life update. There are a few other topics I'd like to do that are the intersection between like technology and society. So I mean, we have so many really big societal problems, and those topics about society will get a broader reach, and so that'll bring in more revenue and more subscribers. The stuff I'd like to do is the more kind of niche stuff that doesn't get many views. It's like about Linux or a specific board or something. I think there's a new 0-day on Firefox. Either that or some weird bug in Google Ads. Yeah, I guess that's hopefully I'm not vulnerable to whatever that is. Why not use IntelliJ for Java at least? I have that open right now, but I'm just used to. It's easier to do it in Vim. I get more screen real estate. I've been switching back and forth with both. we vote like 3 or 4 times every year over here. That's over in Europe, I guess. Are you interested in issues like privacy analytics? I think there is a demand for how to use more privacy-based hardware and software. Yeah, there's lots of stuff that could be said about that, but it's not a. I would say it's not my top thing. I have kind of like a long list of things I'd like to cover, but just not enough hours in the day. Switzerland, we vote on pretty much anything, from basic laws to new members of parliament. Interesting. Yeah, I guess if we ideally we should vote on more stuff, but we don't do that here. I mean, some really, really big things like the increase in immigration. We didn't have any say over that, and that affected us like way more than, I think who the currently in power person is. I find it amazing that you all take democracy for granted. I live in a failed democracy. Constitution changes every decade. Voting means nothing. I hope things get better for everybody. Where do you live? JetBrains Writer has Zen mode. I think IntelliJ has something similar. Yeah, I guess I could look into it. Yeah, I've been kind of. I haven't used an IDE in years, so I've been kind of slowly learning the features. I just learned a new feature tonight about the run configurations, about how to finally get this working the way I wanted it, to put it before launch. From Brazil. Yeah, I've heard things are politically rough in Brazil. Although I don't quite know to what extent. Mexico is also becoming kind of unstable recently, I think. I keep hearing more and more stuff about lots of crazy stuff going down there. And the U.S. is all concerned about instability. I got emails from people phishing on an email I never give it or use from someone from some ROM site. Usually very careful with that. But the email's awfully specific to what I was reading. I know, like ads and stuff. I have gotten spam emails from stuff that are where it almost seems like there's some data broker is like there's like a targeting pixel. It could even be like IP address based or something. They just see that our given IP address is associated with an email, and then that once they can associate the IP address and email, then once like one person does that, sells that to a data broker, then they can associate the IP with the activity, and of course, cookie tags and Facebook cookie tags and all kinds of ideas. I guess don't open it then. Extraction vulnerability. I guess it would probably depend on what you use to extract the zip with then. Do you know the Go runtime that gets compiled in? Has the times been marked by malware scanners? I guess if it's doing some like if it's doing some crazy dynamic rewriting, then it would probably, it's like signature would probably look, it would probably be like identical to some malware software or obfuscators or things. Speaking of world domination, what's your take on Rust? People ask me about Rust a lot. I have no interest in Rust at all, and the more I learn about Rust, the less I am interested in Rust. What the hell are you doing right now? I am working on my terminal-based block mining simulation game. So I'm trying to figure out, I have a bug that appears here where when I move around, these weird like empty set characters appear, and that's not supposed to happen. And I think it's because because of the way I'm updating the screen. Will you continue to live in Canada long term, despite your comments about vanities currently? Or are you planning to move to a country with cheaper housing and cost of living? I'm going to stay put for now. The question is, it takes resources to go somewhere. Like if I had if I had millions of dollars, then I'd maybe start to think more about. I don't know. It's probably a better I'd probably go to the U.S. Or like somewhere good in the U.S. And maybe like Arizona or Nevada or something. But I'm pretty far from that. You should call it Vimcraft. I don't know. It's not really. It's not really specifically Vim related. let's see. What was I thinking before about why this doesn't work? So it might be it might be related to I think maybe what I should be doing is in here, instead of skipping, I should basically zero this out. That would make sense. When are you going to collab with Skibidi Toilet? At this time, I do not have any active plans to collab with Skibidi Toilet. I don't think we can operate within anarchy by the rules and law. Yeah, I mean, anarchy is the opposite of order. Hey, Robert just finished watching our most recent video. Are you serious about moving off grid? I've been eyeing property, but everything is too expensive to legally own. It's basically just like a nonsense joke video, but also kind of just life updates. But I mean, it's my hope is to touch on like a general sentiment. I do feel like there's society is kind of falling apart in a lot of different ways, but yeah, it's mainly just a joke video. But at the same time, the idea, the allure of being independent is pretty interesting. Although you need resources for it. I was about to watch your latest video, but I saw your live stream. Yeah, there's all kinds of little like interesting things you learn about like getting the views and stuff in social media. I find when you release a new video, that's when you're getting a lot more views in the video, and then that also seems to increase the live streams a lot. So if you want to do a live stream and get a lot of people on it, release a few new videos in succession, because then everyone who watches the video sees that you're live at that time, and they're like, oh, I wonder what he's doing. Fair enough. I agree with you on the falling apart. It's sad that reality is dire enough that someone can take you seriously like that. Yeah, it's I mean, also the like to fix the societal issues, we need to talk about them. We have to talk about them more, and I think anything that gets a little bit more, even if it's just like joke videos, getting a little bit more attention on some of these issues like housing and stuff like that. Because there's a lot of people who are facing these issues and don't have the time to make stupid YouTube videos to give commentary on the housing crisis. I think Canada will do well. The next decade's worst scenario is joining USA. Yeah, I mean, like we've had like negative growth. I think we've done worse than what was it like? There's a list of, I don't know, the G30 or something like that, where one of the worst or second worst of all of them. So at some point there's going to have to be a reversion to the mean, where we eventually things can only continue getting worse until they hit rock bottom. And if we can just hit rock bottom, then we can improve. I believe that if you look into dictionary definition of anarchy, you will find out the definition does not mean without rules or without order. It just means without ruler, state, and government. Yeah, I guess, but then you need then random people are going to impose their own rules on you. Scientist Peter Turchin has been prescient. He predicted that the 2020s will be a turbulent time back in the early 2010s. He was right. I think social media has made talking about serious issues like this very difficult to talk about. You either have people who support your side 100% or disagree 100%. Nuance and dialogue seems to have died out in the past decade. Yeah, it's also I think people with they're kind of people articulate people who have a fear of getting canceled or whatever. A lot of those people are, people who are articulate just want to keep their mouths shut, because why start these why start a conversation about things that people are going to want to argue with you about. So a lot of people just kind of tune out from it. And I guess we as society gets worse, people talk about these things more and more, so it leads to more arguments. And this research shows that history tells us that inequality has been the reason for decline for most societies. Yeah, it's not clear to me how do we fix that issue. UK browsers are apparently most highly paid bug bounties. Cancelled is a big issue. I remember reading the papers in the 2010s with big opinion pieces. You don't see that now that everyone has a face and will be crucified for their opinions. Yeah, I mean, we might be getting past that though. People are getting desensitized to the cancellation stuff. Every time I feel like society will collapse, it turns like nothing happened. It's becoming a cycle now. I don't know, the day-to-day reality like this. It depends what you mean by collapse. Like we have the number of new people having children and stuff is falling off a cliff. It's becoming less feasible to do many normal things. I was at the grocery store the other day. Raspberries are getting like $9 now. I think it's because we're all staring down on our phones, into algorithms too much. Feel like we can do anything. Yeah, the algorithms rile people up too all the time. My phone is about to die. Anyways, if you want to build a log cabin in the woods, let's group buy some land. This able-bodied 20-year-old soft fella would do the heavy lifting. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe once I get some more resources, I can move up to that Axel Heiberg Island and build a castle up there. Have you dominated the world yet? I'm working on it. It's hard to multitask with coding and dominating and reading the chat. Min viable base page setup for stable colony on Axel Heiberg. Apparently there is there's a research station up there. I think McGill University has like some huts or something up there. What are we doing here? I'm working on maybe trying to bug fix something. I'm thinking about let's make sure that doesn't break anything. I want to build an AI-based Linux terminal function. Any ideas? AI-based terminal Linux function. I don't know what that is. Java, huh? Must be a big project there. The vision is eventually it will be. Do you think seasteading is plausible? I mean, those ideas of independent artificial islands, colonies, etc. They could be anarchical, maybe. Seasteading. I don't know what the definition of that is. But I would say if it's not if you don't see it a lot, it's probably not. There's probably going to be some economic issues with it. I think that's what a lot of stuff boils down to. If it's not economic, it doesn't. You don't see much of it. Do you have this project on GitHub? Yes, there's a link in the description. What do you recommend for a budding software engineer with no degree to get a job in the field? A budding software engineer with no degree to get a job in the field. With no degree, it's going to be difficult now. Yeah, I don't know. It's competitive. If you can, I would say it probably depends. I think a lot of these job questions that people ask, it depends on where you are too. If you can find something that is growing, I don't know, if you don't have a degree, that getting unpaid internships and stuff like that is. But then again, I also don't recommend people do unpaid internships because I find a lot of them, the people, if someone knows how to make money, they will pay you money. And if you go work for someone who doesn't know how to make money, then you're not going to learn useful skills. You're just going to learn how to take advantage of people, usually. We see we should build a new society in the Arctic. Are talking about white people? No, I just mean any kind of people, any people who want to build a functioning society where we all pay taxes and get along and we're happy and we have housing. I'm at a boot camp right now to boost me up. Yeah, I know what it's graduating from a boot camp program now is the job market is competitive. Even experienced people are having difficulty now. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm sorry, I don't have better advice. I guess it's just you gotta grind, and I'd say probably the best advice would be ask more specific questions, because it depends on what specific type of job do you want, what specific do you want to do, back end, front end. It also depends on where you are physically. The job market in Europe is different from the job market in the US, and Poland right now is doing really well. Yeah, actually, Sam mentioned get contact info of your classmates. Invite everyone on LinkedIn and stuff. Every additional person that you're connected to, and is another potential lead. I've been skipping all this discussions about anarchy. That's a deep philosophical conversation you have there. Okay, that did not break everything, so fine. I just feel nervous about all of the people that are getting sent in with degrees. I'm thinking about probably gonna learn another language, go some results. Especially if the market is too concentrated. Yeah, I mean, if you're in a boot camp, it was always competitive for people in boot camps, but for now it's like there's so much oversupply now in the market. It's going to take a while for that to change. Yeah, I would say once again, it depends where you are physically. I don't know if you're in the U.S. But you said going to learn another language. Go. It might even make sense to instead of like if you already know one programming language, it might even make sense to pick up a skill that's in addition to, or that can like complement programming. Because there's always new languages to learn. Like people in chat are always telling me to like learn this or that language or framework, and I'm probably like, people tell me to learn Rust, but I'm not going to learn Rust. I don't have an interest in it. But like another skill, like video creation or something like that. We were saying before about how there's a lot of like if you get a job at a startup or something, and you can do, like every startup now has to advertise and they have to have your social medias. So someone there might say like, hey, why don't we make a YouTube channel for our small startup? And if there's only one person there who has any expertise in making video, just using like video editing software, that might be the segue. But I guess that's not that's one other skill. But if you can find something that kind of complements the programming thing, that might make sense. Or something you can do kind of I don't know, along with all the other bootcamp stuff. So it's kind of like something where there's something that can complement programming, but it could be that if you need to fall back like on a secondary skill, that you have something else in your tool belt. I'm in US. Yeah, I don't know. Does anyone have? I don't think my advice is very good tonight. Anyone have some advice for Only Planes? So he's doing a boot camp in the US. Boot camp program, learning program. It's actually been a long time since I looked for a job, so I'm out of. I wouldn't really know how to advise someone on the job search. I have to brush up a lot myself. I'm really hoping to find a remote work opportunity. Can't move, relocate abroad due to personal commitments. Don't foresee that changing. Still, I enjoy programming. Yeah, I guess if you're in Brazil, I don't know what all the like visa requirements are and stuff for that. Actually, I have no idea how easy it is to hire people from Brazil. I heard Azure and Amazon certifications good too. Yeah, I guess that could be like coming from like a boot camp level. That could be a good segue to yeah, it might make sense. Like usually a company will have they will kind of swear by all their infrastructure will be either on Azure or on Amazon AWS, and if you come in with having that stamp of approval that you know one or the other, then that can help you get you in the door. Heard there was good news in your elections. I don't know. I don't know about that. I think no matter what happens, it's bad. Speaking to people and performing customer service is a valuable skill. Working retail, it's a good way to expose yourself to new people and ideas. I mean, it can be, but still working in retail is kind of soul-crushing if you do it long enough. Build your projects, put them in your CV. Yeah, doing freelance. Yeah, I'm also not really sure about what the market is even like for that. Because I know since AI came, a lot of people are like afraid of getting ripped off with like kind of like remote freelance type stuff. So that's going to decrease some of the demand for that work. But then again, I don't know. I mean, back in the day, I looked into like these like freelancer.com, or I guess the equivalent of like Fiverr, and the reviews were really bad back then. So I stayed away from it. I don't know if that market has improved a bit. But yeah, I think even if you just know like if you can get through some like AWS, if you can get some experience like setting up, launching some instances and stuff with on Amazon AWS and setting up basic stuff, that could be a segue into something more. Yeah, honestly, I'm probably not even a good person to listen to when it comes to like interviewing for jobs now, because my knowledge it's been so long since I looked. Like it was before AI, and AI changed everything. If you're looking to work in Canada, there's a good video on immigration I can recommend. Programming bootcamp I attended had an employment agency that facilitated connections between students and prospective employers. Does your bootcamp offer a similar type of service? Yeah, that's a good question, because I think the best bootcamps and schools and stuff will all give you some kind of like that's kind of the whole value proposition, is that they help connect you with employment. Some of them do like basically nothing though. I heard about Fiverr too. Yeah, like something like that may even be like maybe a resume builder. I'm kind of skeptical about whether you could make a lot of money on Fiverr. I would imagine that must be a very competitive platform, and there's probably a lot of people on there trying to like who don't know anything about anything, and they're trying to use AI to solve stuff. So probably the people who request stuff are consistently disappointed. I would flip a table if I saw an AI resume. It's so obvious. They look great. The read so inhuman. Well, I mean, an AI is getting really good, I'm sure. It's basically impossible. You can a sufficiently good AI prompted resume would be indistinguishable from a human one. So what do you recommend should be use AI to do the jobs? Because here it's like you have to use AI to get passed for HR. Yeah, I don't know. In the future, everyone's going to try to use AI for everything. Sucks because getting a job is basically need to know someone now. Yeah, I don't have any great advice other than it's you just got to grind at it so you can look at your current reflect on your current circumstance and think about like the people around you. Network with all of them on LinkedIn. You could do some of those things like the Fiverr or whatever. Even if you just like did Fiverr to waste some time, you can like put that on there and say like successfully completed projects on Fiverr or something. At least that demonstrates like, oh, you've actually done some kind of a transaction. So someone paid you $5 to write some software that at least gives you something to go on. I was going to college for robotics, but it seems possible to get into tech. And I shall be a wheat mill. Yeah, it's I don't know, it's tough times, grinding away. Okay, let me try to do what I was doing. Is it a poor idea to fib on your resume? I would say so. Congrats on being debt free. Just saw your Woods video. Just want to say, great job on going for it. Inspired me to get moving on some of my things, my own life as well. So let's both keep going. Oh, that's good. I'm good. It had some. Glad it had some positive effect on people. Thanks for helping. Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed I couldn't help more. Yeah, I'd say general advice. I think more specific questions. You can try to network as much. Oh, there's a train. Try to network as much with people in your cohort. I don't know how close, like if you have any like friends or a crew. I think even in times like this, something that might be more valuable than like just like working on more stuff is like if you can build like a little cohort, like a group of friends. So if you have if your situation is like difficult and at times seems hopeless, if you can like find 3 or 4 people to just like keep in touch with and like go to have a beer with them or something every once in a while and just like complain about here's what I did and here's what I'm doing, and you can like kind of compare notes. And if you can find a few people who you're in the same boat as, that might be possibly even more valuable than the bootcamp itself. Once you have a Corpo Cube experience, you're in for pretty much good. Getting a job is basically, you need to know someone now. I can relate. USA and Canada are Latin America now. No offense. Corpo Cube, probably cubicles, office environment. Trying to build a crew for sure. Absolute coding gangsters. Yeah, when I first was at university, there's a few people that always sat at the front, and I kind of went through maybe like 3 or 4 people before I found a group of people. I just said like, hey, do you guys want to go to get a beer sometime? And then we did, and it was it's very satisfying. After a few hours of class, go have lunch all together, and those were some of the most cherished memories of university days. Go to the plaza. I even offered to work for $6 an hour. That's not very much. I'm thinking of just starting a business in refurbishing laptops, putting Linux on them. Yeah, if you can get money, if it sells. Definitely need be top 10% skill in interviewing. Need to know somebody. Even interviewing. Applied internally while already in Corpo Cube land. Ended up losing out 3x to someone they already had in mind. The only reason I got a programming job here in Brazil was because they were having trouble finding anyone else. They were quite desperate. It sounds like you had the right timing. Network is value. No one expects much from a bootcamp grad. Yeah, and I think even just it's not about like being like in the mafia where you're like, hey, yo Tony, hook me up with the job, but just to like go have a meeting. Like you catch up with someone and they're like, hey, did you do this thing? Did you are you pursuing this? And you're like, no, I've never heard of that. I'm like, do this works way better than this other thing. And just like one simple piece of information saves you so much work. I mean, like when I started the stream, one of the first things someone told me was something I spent like an hour last stream trying to figure out. There's this option here before launch, and that runs the second run configuration, and I just didn't know that. And someone's like, hey, go do this. And for them to tell me that, it took like a couple sentences, and it made a big difference. Is there money in the independent path? What if there can be, but it's you're on your own though. You might go broke. Would it be weird cool if we made a matrix FOSS group for us Linux people to network? There's so few of us. I managed to work together. We could pull each other up. There is a Discord. Someone else mentioned having like a matrix. I think for my like community or something. In terms of the like the Discord, I'll probably like not have my own Discord and like, but instead I'll just delegate, not like there's someone else who already really wanted to have a Discord, so I'll let them, like it's their Discord, and then as long as I don't see anything crazy there, I will refer people to that link who want to use the Discord, and then that way if like I die or something, then the Discord lives on. But I would also be open-minded if someone, I've never used Matrix before, but yeah, I actually, I don't have the link. If someone, I guess Brad said it's fine to share it. So if one of you who's the channel member, it's linked in the channel member page, but I don't remember it off the top of my head. I don't have it on this computer. Just watch your immigration video. Thanks for interesting insights. Yes, hope it leads to some positive improvements. Oh, we got a super chat. Robert, thanks for the live. I'm going to watch your latest video now. Thanks. We're now up to, oh, and look, the chat revenue has changed. I don't know if any of you have been here all this time. I said at the start of the stream, it changes the currency prefix. So when it started, it was in US dollars, but now it changed to Canadian. And it changes back and forth randomly. Oh, it's almost midnight. I can sell them, but it's more of a, do I need a cert for it? I want you to network Linux people more. I mean, if you're doing an entrepreneurial thing, I would say you definitely don't need a cert. If you're an entrepreneur, you shouldn't be asking, do you need a certification for things like, well, I guess maybe if there's a legal requirement, like for compressed to gas license or something like that. But it's anything you want to learn, you can learn for free on the internet. Bootcamp with a job placement program was no for me when I thought of doing it back in the day. Yeah, I think a bootcamp to be competitive now, they should really work on setting you up with something. In my opinion, that's almost more valuable than even teaching you anything. We got another super chat. I'm hoping to transition from all corporate social media to only FOSS ones. Yeah, I've never used Matrix. Actually, I don't really even use Discord. There's too many social medias to keep track of. But thank you for the super chat to Attis Sustus. Someone says, "Hey man, how are you? Not too bad." Only Planes asked about the link for the Discord. I don't know. I don't think anyone has posted it yet. I don't know if anyone. There's only maybe all those 30 people are randoms. But if any of you are a channel member to have seen the Discord, you can post the link. Only Planes. If you really want to, if you don't find it, go to my website, robertelder.org, and you can email me, and I'll send you a link to it. Just put something in the title of your email that says like something about like, I saw your live stream or something. So that way, I will just if you say like, if you say something generic like buy data broker data or something like that, then I'll just assume it's spam. My camp has a job guarantee, but I like to be prepared, ready for anything. That's good. They have a job guarantee. I know some of them though, like I've heard some of them like will end up getting you to be like a teacher for the next year or something. But I guess if it's yeah, I guess it depends all on the fine print. But the job is the important part. Good to know your life has financially stabilized a bit. Yeah, it's definitely great for my mental health to have that issue alleviated. Watched immigration video, no offense, but it seems like Canada and USA is turning into Brazil. I hope your country can solve these issues in a secure and democratic way. I agree with you on that. Where do I email? If you check out my website, robertelder.org, and then I think click on contact, and I think my emails, I have an email on there. Only other place I know in the U.S. And what's promising is NC area called the Research Triangle. I think Cali and Texas are the same. I've been to California, but never Texas. Why'd you stop teaching? I don't know if you watched the immigration video, but in that video I talked about what it was like teaching during the strike, and it was just that was incredibly well. Honestly, I probably could make another separate video about that, but why I was not teaching anymore. The short answer is the amount of time it takes, and so the amount of hours they pay you for, and the amount of hours that it takes to actually satisfy the teaching, the bare minimum obligation is like totally disconnected. Like say the pay was good per hour. It was like $100 an hour, but the amount of time that it took to actually conduct that, like lecture material and doing exams and stuff like that, it was like 3 times what they pay you for. So you work 3 hours, you get paid for 1 hour at $100 an hour. And also the college had extremely poor public transit access. There was a few days. I mean, maybe I should make a quick video on it. I took a picture one night, and I'm like walking in the dark across a cornfield in the middle of snow because there's no public transit after like 6 p.m. and I had a class. Sometimes I could just barely catch the last bus, but then if I missed it, I had to walk. It's just not worth the amount of time and effort. Okay, but I like the Ubuntu virtual icons from way back. I actually can't really even visualize what those are. You should make a fitness channel to get a wider audience. Time to get jacked. I could, but there's many things that I could do. Yeah, and another thing, like, here's just I could just rattle off tons of examples. There was a student that they missed the exam for a legitimate reason. They had an excuse, and so I do an exam for the class. Everyone takes the exam except for this one student, and then so what you're supposed to do if they have a valid excuse, you're supposed to administer like a second exam, but because they took it later, you want to like change it up a bit so they're not cheating. So like you have all this burden of now preparing and administering a different exam for that one student. I remember for this, though it's one student, because they have the right to, they had, I don't know, injury or something like that. So they're doing another exam. So I have to proctor one exam for everyone else, and then for this one individual student who had the right to an exam, an alternate exam, it was, I just scheduled at some random, like 7 p.m. or something like that. And then, so I would have had to come all the way down to the college just to proctor, 1 hour travel there, proctor for like an hour and a half for the exam, come back, waste an hour and during some evening. So it'd be like a 5-hour ordeal just for this one individual student. And then of course I have to mark it, and then I have to like re-log into the stuff to put the marks in and stuff. So instead of going there, the college had this like proctor service. So I, of course, there's like this process. I have to go into this thing and set it up with an application and message the student. And so I tell these people like, okay, you proctored the exam, and I'm supposed to just like what I wanted to do was just give the exam digitally, and then this person whose job it was to proctor exams for the college, in these cases, they were supposed to do this. But the time of the exam, both the student and the person who was supposed to proctor the exam start calling my phone, and they're like, oh, the student isn't here, and then the student's like, oh, I'm at the place, but there's no one here, and both of them are like panic because I guess they didn't communicate with each other, and so they had no idea like where the exam was supposed to be proctored or something. I'm just like, this is the whole point of this. Like, I'm not supposed to be involved. I went through this formal process to like, that's supposed to email both of you, and you already have each other's contact information. Why are you even contacting me? So that was like one, just example of like the exception cases. Like 5% of the students take up like 50% of the resources from like just stuff like this, and so that's one example. And there's just like tons of examples like plagiarism and so you can waste a lot of time on those things. Aside from the renovation thing, how is it like living in Toronto? I'm not in Toronto. I'm in Kitchener, which is kind of near Toronto, but I kind of, there are aspects of the city that I like access to stuff is good. Like just being close to, if I want to go get something, or, historically I was here for like the people in the network, but most of the people I knew moved away. I was going to meetups, but in the last few years, my financial situation has meant I spend more and more time like working, so I have not had the time to go out and really do much networking in person. And I guess YouTube is kind of the scalability of networking on YouTube is much greater. Like if I went to an event tonight, I meet a few people, but there's suppose if you believe the numbers, 31 concurrent viewers now, and hundreds of people watching the videos and stuff. So it seems to be a much more scalable way to like network and reach people. Chat's discussing freedom, democracy. Frankly, it feels like speaking an alien language. Seriously, bros, don't take those terms for granted. Always be vigilant. Yeah, I don't know. There's historically, Canada's been a stable country, but in the last few years, there's weird stuff that's happening where, like, there's been a lot of laws and stuff that have changed dramatically. Like during COVID, they rammed through a lot of laws that, and like, even talking to people, like they changed these laws about how like violent offenders are not jailed and stuff, and some of this stuff is, you only heard about like a year later, and like they passed what law that did what, and they want to pass all these laws to censor the internet and stuff, and I don't even keep track of it. It's just, if you could send the exceptions to dev null. Yeah, that's the thing though. You can't though. You could ignore them, but then like the student has a right, so they can just go to the dean and be like, hey, this person's not doing this. I actually noticed YouTube finally is recommending me people I am interested in watching. proliferating. I'm with that, but team latitude. I'm 2 MySpace projections away from living in the woods, refurbishing ThinkPads, and declaring war on the entire concept of corporate culture. MySpace projections. That's MySpace hasn't been popular for a while now. Let's see, I have not been. I haven't got much progress done on my game. Let's see. Let's see what this does. next big stride in AI-assisted game development be utilizing AI's control interactions, create sprites, animations, or will it be just to continually debug and write overall? I'm actually kind of thinking it may be in like sprites and animations, because that's one case where like it's obvious today it can already create like sprites and stuff, and if the sprites are like kind of weird, or the textures aren't perfect, it still works. Whereas the game logic, like networking code, is kind of exactly the kind of thing that I would not want to trust an AI writing network code. Okay, what will this do? That's not what I had hoped, but I'm still waiting on AI to be able to fully create retro games and eventually be able to create custom game consoles. Yeah, I mean, eventually it'll be all possible. Still waiting for AI to be able to spawn $1 million in my bank account legally. That'll be nice. But the thing is, when we have that, the bank will use that for themselves. Oh, look at that. Wow. I don't know if for any of you who are paying close attention, this fixed the bug I was having. So that was, so the issue here was when I'm changing the text and the new character update involves a character that's wider than one character. What I was doing before was just skipping this over, but there's actually some parts of the array, I guess my my last state that I was keeping track of. And what I needed to be doing was explicitly setting that and overwriting it. But previously I was just skipping over it. glued a GPU to rotisserie chicken at 3 a.m. Now my Wi-Fi only connects to haunted gas stations. Every time I blink, I owe a horse $5. That's an interesting story. Why can you not index an array in Python? I don't get it. Can you? I love terminal games. Yep, you came to the right channel for that. Okay, so we now, that's awesome. So this is now fixed. So the issue with the UI not working in IntelliJ is now fixed. That's, I guess, good. That technically that bug could happen on other platforms. Let's see. I think I'm going to make Kotlin and PowerShell, C# my main tools. Kotlin I'm not familiar with. PowerShell's Windows, so I stay away from that. I think I could go 52 hours without water. How long do you think you could go? I don't know. It depends how much water I started with. Robert, please do not use keyword this. I do not understand it. It scares me to this day. Well, I don't know. I will try to be sensitive to your phobia of that word in the future, but I can't promise anything. What would you recommend for learning how to make CUI for an app? Actually, I would say if you, I have a video called terminal-based video game development, and that is probably the fastest way to teach you about all the different things, like the things where you don't even know what question to ask about developing user interfaces in the terminal. Data Camp is awesome. All right, I caught up on chat. I fixed a bug successfully tonight, and we got $13 more toward my campaign to world domination. And it's after midnight, so I think I might call it a night. I think that's a pretty successful stream. So yeah, I don't know. I may. Oh yeah, tomorrow's Tuesday, isn't it? Yeah, I've been doing my Tuesday live stream in the woods. So we'll see. Just email me. All right, I'll check my email. If yeah, I will check it within, tonight or tomorrow. And if I don't get back to you, feel free to email me again. Friends, I'm heading out. Me too as well. Keep up the great work. Have a great night. See you later. Congrats on your continued success. Thanks. All right. And on that note of Japanese or Chinese text, I'll call it an evening. See you guys tomorrow.